Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. If you want to follow the channel on Instagram, same name as the channel, DREAMERSPRO. And also, if you want today's full show before it comes out, it is streaming for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you want it before it comes out on YouTube. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. Now, about 2 days ago, we produced the show on some thoughts that I was having about the breakup between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. And the angle from which I approached that show was I was looking at all of the success that Shannon Sharpe has been able to experience and enjoy ever since he decided to move, or ever since he was recruited over to ESPN First Take. And I'm looking at some of the challenges that have taken place back at his former place of employment at FS1. As you guys know, Undisputed is no longer the top show on that show. I believe First Things First is the top show, which speaks volumes because prior to Shannon Sharpe's departure, there was one of their flagship shows there. That's number one. Number two, in that show, I was discussing the idea about how could FS1 possibly let such a talent walk out of the door. To me, it was absolutely confounding. Now, for those of you guys who maybe don't remember, early this year, there was a couple of spats that basically occurred on that show on television. One of them had to do with Skip Bayless essentially insulting Shannon Sharpe over, some comments that he made about Tom Brady, where Shannon Sharpe seemed to be taken aback that Skip Bayless would take a personal shot at him on live television to defend Shannon Sharpe. So there was that one, and then the other one was the DeMar Hamlin situation. So what happened? We then got the news that Shannon Sharpe was going to ultimately be having his last day on the show the day after the NBA Finals, and that's exactly what happened. So this morning I was doing some research, and I came across an article from the New York Post. This article was published September 23rd, so fairly recent. Now, some people say, "Oh, this is old news." You know what's funny? There are people talking about news and things that happened years ago, and we're hearing new things come out about it, new light being shed on old stories, which brings up new conversation. When we do it, all of a sudden, it's an old story. But the New York Post had this article that was published on September 23rd, 2023, and it had the following headline. It says, Shannon Sharpe barely talked to Skip Bayless outside of Undisputed. But before we even continue, I've already told you guys that I'm planning on moving to the States, and I've been trying my absolute hardest to find good NBA tickets. And it's been so hard trying to find a good deal out there until I discovered SeatGeek, which I am absolutely excited to say is today's sponsor. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. And with the NFL and NBA season in full swing, SeatGeek has your tickets to every game. Now, here's the best part and the reason I absolutely love SeatGeek. They put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you are getting a good deal. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by the buyer's guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event. And we have great news for you because we got you guys a really, really good deal. Use code DREAMERSPRO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DREAMERSPRO. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. And remember, when you try SeatGeek by using the link in the description below, just know that you're helping this channel. So let me get into what this article had to say here. It continues on by saying, speculation remains around the former Undisputed 7-year relationship between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, despite the 3-time Super Bowl champion leaving the show in June. With his new First Take colleague, Stephen A. Smith, Sharpe detailed the people and things he misses about the FS1 debate show, which didn't include Skip Bayless, Smith noted. I do, Sharpe said in answering that he did know that he did not include his former co-host before further explaining their relationship was only an in-office professional one. They did not interact much outside of work, making for something different from the other friendships he formed at the network and in the NFL. He recalled one brunch they had together in their longtime relationship. Skip and I didn't have the relationship that I had with the people that I miss. Skip would go to work. He would get to work. I would get to work, Sharpe said. I was in my dressing room. He was in his dressing room. It really was like a heavyweight fight. We barely talked. It was very little communication. The article then continues on. The Hall of Famer said he believed this was because he followed the lead of Bayless and how he conducted his business, which didn't involve much chatter in the morning, according to Sharpe. He treated this like an actual game, Sharpe said. I just learned he doesn't want to be bothered, and I'm okay with that. I didn't get the sense that he wanted, he continued. I'm not a guy who's going to force anything. If you show me you want to have a relationship outside of work, I'll accept it. If you want to have a relationship that's strictly work and it's confined to the 2.5 hours we work, we're at work, I'm cool with that as well. Still, Bayless and the show meant a lot to Sharpe, who had a tearful sign-off on the last show on June 15 and still expressed gratitude about his tenure there. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity, Sharpe said. I would be remiss, and I can't say enough, that he fought for me to get on First Take. I think I have been as humble and as gracious as possible as I possibly could in giving him his kudos for that. And then the article went on to say a few other things. Now, initially when that story came out, we actually did a show that was about a video that was put together. It was like a compilation video. I think it was Shannon Sharpe's team that put it together, where they kind of chronicled Shannon's morning of his last day, from arriving at FS1, going in the elevator, running into Colin Cowherd, going into his dressing room, etc., etc., etc. So what happened? They were filming the entire event, and then Shannon then concludes his speech that he gave on television. And here's what's interesting. Shannon doesn't reach across the desk to shake Skip's hand. I think he did it on air, but after he got off, he just kind of walked off, started greeting everyone or saying goodbye to everyone. Then you see another clip of him in a room full of, I guess, all of the people that worked on the show, the producers, whoever it is, and all the talent. And they're like, I think, having champagne and they're having cake. And Skip noticeably wasn't there. Some people said at the time that I was reading too much into it. Here's my thought about this article here. I think Shannon, first of all, what he said about, because he said it on numerous occasions, that he is perfectly okay with coming to work and having an awkward situation with someone, but still being professional, going out there, performing his duty, and getting the hell off the show, right? Without, ruffling any feathers. He said that before, and I 100% believe him that he can do something like that. To me, if you look at how friendly Shannon and Stephen A. Smith are, they go everywhere. I mean, they go to different things, obviously is work related, but they seem to be genuinely friendly. For example, you heard Stephen A. Smith say he's going to invite Shannon Sharpe to his house and show him all of this stuff, just being friend, it's a colleague. You want to build good chemistry together. And I'm surprised that wasn't established between Skip and Shannon at that show. And I used to say this for some years. People thought, oh, you're reading too much into it. You're reading too much into it. To me, body language is everything. You should be able to read intent, whether or not somebody likes you or not. You can read this by nonverbal signals and the energy that they convey across to you. And a subtle thing that I used to notice was whenever they started the show, Shannon would always be the person that reached across the desk to dap him up. To me, that spoke volumes. Some people said, oh, it's nothing. But now we find out that I guess they weren't as tight. They weren't as tight as we thought they were all along, right? And it wasn't acting, right? Because the way Skip went at him, those were personal attacks. And you don't do that to a friend, let alone a colleague, on live air by basically trying to diminish their career accomplishments because you have a disagreement with them about a particular athlete. So to me, this article was quite revealing. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. Do you think that it was all strictly business? And I have a better question for you. Given all of the success that Shannon Sharpe is enjoying at ESPN First Take, do you think Skip could have done a better job at cultivating that relationship that he had with Shannon Sharpe and kind of removing his ego? The reason I'm asking that question is simply this. As I said before, Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed is averaging 800,000 live viewers. I mean, 7-8 times the views that they're getting over there at FS, or at least on Undisputed Live. And you can see that Skip Bayless is making a concerted effort to be more friendly with his new castmates. So do you think if Skip had taken this approach with Shannon from the jump, Shannon will possibly still be working at the network? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.